You're listening to RAndrewsLive, the podcast with your host, Randy Andrews. On this podcast, we're all about the music and the stories. Each episode, Randy takes different music tracks and puts them to the stories and events of our everyday lives. It's like building a soundtrack to your life and then rock out to it. But it's not just about the tunes. We also bring out guests to share their stories, and we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look into the life of a full-time entertainer. From the sold-out shows to the green rooms, we're here to take you on a wild ride. So grab your headphones and get ready to jam. Here's your host, Randy Andrews.
What's up, everyone? How's it going? This is Randy Andrews, and you are tuned into the RAndrewsLive, the podcast. And with me, I've got a very special guest. Please help me welcome former Division II basketball player turned into plant-based wellness coach, helping professional women of color reclaim their health and energy through a vegan lifestyle and helping them lose weight and cleanse naturally with herbs. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Tanisha Naughton. Tanisha, how's it going?
Great, Randy. How are you doing?
I can't complain. I'm warmer today than I was yesterday, and I'm hanging in there. It's middle of Iowa in the winter, so best as I can be.
Mm-hmm. We're having two opposite weathers here. I'm in Georgia, so it's a little bit warmer.
We tap out whenever we want. I'll swap places with you and get a little bit of snow in, and I can kind of thaw out, and then we'll swap back.
I hear you. I mean, I'm originally from New York, so I do sympathize a lot with you.
Perfect. So Tanisha, before we jump into all our talks and share some stories and kind of just go back and forth, let us know who you are, what you're about, maybe a little backstory, a little bio, if you could.
Yeah, definitely. So Tanisha Naughton, I'm a vegan coach for women of color, helping them transition to become plant-based and also cleanse naturally with herbs, and all about self-empowerment. So loving yourself through the foods that we eat. Food is medicine. And I'm an online coach doing it in a virtual space. And yeah, really just bringing back the love that, as much as we take care of our mind, body, and soul, that's going to help us be better humans, more productive, better family members, spouses, all the things wellness.
Perfect. I love it. When I was in college, I was originally going to be an elementary school teacher. And then I realized, I don't think I can handle that. Kids screaming and, freaking out all day and yelling. Then I switched over to PE because, physical education, it's important to get up and move. And I thought, how awesome could it be to show up to work every day in gym shorts, a t-shirt, and play dodgeball? So I told people I was majoring in dodgeball and kickball, but my final degree I ended up getting was in performance psychology. But before that, I was on the verge. I was that close to getting a health and wellness degree. So I'm right there with you as far as kind of that holistic approach and kind of going natural and just feed your body and mind what it needs to thrive and succeed. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I've always been kind of the same thing, like in the wellness space. So I used to be, like I said, former Division II college basketball athlete, but I also was a personal trainer. So wellness was always in my realm. Like I went to school for criminal justice, but on the side, wellness was always there. And, eating better. And then, when my mom got sick with diabetes, that's when I got introduced to this holistic natural lifestyle. And I was actually 30 pounds heavier because after basketball, you're a little bit more stagnant and not moving as much. So, and I was eating poorly back then, drinking and eating a lot of foods that I shouldn't. So when she got sick, we kind of went on this journey together to just cleanse our bodies and take her off of all her medication. And then about a year and a half later, the doctor said she was now pre-diabetic and my mom wasn't on any medication. So it was an fortunate situation that happened. And then I lost the 30 pounds in addition to on this vegan lifestyle, and I haven't looked back since.
Honestly, that's an awesome story. There's so many of us out there, we eat the SAD diet, the standard American diet. And we went from almost eating, healthy, natural foods, just some basic seasonings to eating out of convenience. It's a lot. What's sad to say is it's almost a lot cheaper and easier to go run through and grab a $1 cheeseburger, wolf that down, and then 30 minutes later, you're hungry again, and you're just going to go eat some more junk. I know I'm guilty of it. I go on the road when I want to do my shows, and at times the closest thing to me is going to be a truck stop. And it's like, what can I get there? Because, why would I not plan ahead and pack my own food can eat.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, because that would make sense, right? Nice. Yeah, and you kind of touched on when you got out of playing basketball. I did 4 sports in high school. I was constantly active, and I had a few opportunities to go play college basketball. A couple were walk-ons for NAIA schools. D3 schools were recruiting me because they can't offer a scholarship in the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm.
This is before NILs, and my pretty face could have been on selling some canned goods or something. But I had one opportunity that there's a community college that was going to offer me a scholarship to come play basketball for. And I laughed, and I thought, community colleges don't have basketball. That's what we call rec league or intramurals. And then fast forward to the future, I was working as a college admissions director in the same conference that basketball school was at, that college was at. Mm-hmm. And the school was one of the tops in the conference for a few years there. Screwed up. But yeah.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, and when I got out of high school, I kept my biggest mistake was I kept that same eating habit that I had while I was working out, while I was training, and I stopped moving.
Right.
It was almost like I hit a wall, and I dove into my studies. I thought, I'm here at college. It's expensive. I got to get my degree and get out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And training as an athlete and eating that way, that's one thing. And when you're not, you gain some weight. That freshman 15 for me actually turned into freshman 90.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was a big turnaround.
Yeah. I mean, when you're not moving, like you said, no one teaches you that, right? Like when we're growing up, you think that you're going to be young and not gain any weight, like we're invincible. And that was me too. I definitely gained some weight in college, but because I did do basketball, I didn't have to worry about it as much. But when I left, and I was still working out too. Like I did boxing, I did some dancing after basketball was over. But it's just when you're eating late at night, like that's a huge thing. So when you're eating late at night and then you go to sleep with all that food on your stomach, it's not healthy. At all, and I wasn't drinking as much water as I am now. Also, a lot more soda, just all these different things that it's a sad diet. Like it affects our bodies, just increasing cholesterol and all these different diseases that you're not taught. You really think that you're invincible as a college athlete. And honestly, those things are being built then. We think that, we left college and now we're getting sick. Like, no, there's been a buildup. We're not taught that, even with disease running in the family, it's like, no, you can stop with yourself if you decide to change your eating habits. But but not a lot of people think that way. It's like, my grandma had this and my parents had that. It's like everything starts and stops with your decisions that you make regarding your health.
My favorite line I always used was, I would tell people I'm getting big. I'm just big boned. It runs in my family. Which is true to an extent. We have that genetic predisposition that our bones may be a little bit larger based off of our family history. But the eating habits, the cholesterol, we're all individuals still. We can control the controllables within ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm working on in coaching these women, is that you are in control, especially women. Like we're the caretaker of the family. So you're deciding what the family's going to have at dinner. You're deciding what you're going to have when you go to the grocery store. Be more in control of your choices. And that's the empowerment part. Like, yes, you can have tasty food that is healthy for you, but everyone will love it. Because I always say when you transition to a vegan lifestyle, I still season my food. Like, I think people think that I just eat grass and like, that's it, it's like, no, I just like how I used to season my meat, I season my vegetables, my pasta, all the stuff is the same. It's just that the ingredients are cleaner. And that is the biggest difference. And that is what when I say reclaiming your health tools, that's what I'm teaching women to do, that this lifestyle is very sufficient and sustainable, and it's fun. Like I show you how to be social, fun, how to go to a family barbecue and enjoy yourself still, it's just changing things up.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, there's so we actually, my wife and I, we tried a few vegan recipes here lately. One of them was a black bean burger, and we put it out there for my in-laws that came over. We like to grill, we like to cook out. I'm one of those geniuses that are out there negative 30 below weather in shorts and my winter boots. I run out, I flip the burgers, I get back inside. The fire gets me warm enough for that trip back in. But so we had 4 burgers, your traditional beef, and then we had 4 black bean burgers. And honestly, we couldn't tell the difference between the two. And it comes down to seasoning and how you prepare your food. And obviously, there's one that was a little healthier than the other one, but it also comes down to eating in moderation. And that night, I shouldn't have had 3 of them, but I did. So it's not a proud moment, but it was delicious. And
you lived. There are times where we all indulge. And that's okay. It's just usually what happens is that it's not just a moment. It ends up being consistent. People will say, oh, I rarely drink or I rarely eat sweets. And then when you ask them, oh, it's just twice a week. And then that's 8 times in a month. Like, what are we talking about? Every time you're doing that, you're harming yourself. So it's really not moderation at all when you look at it. But it's a mindset. At the end of the day, eating healthier it's literally thinking differently. And that's also what I focus on. It's starting with the mind and how we think and reframing that, instead of, oh, I'm having a healthy salad or I'm having a healthier burger. Like, no, I'm fueling my body so I can be able to last longer, so I can be able to live longer, so I can have a more productive day, so I don't have brain fog. Like, that is the reframe that we need to be thinking about.
Oh, for sure. So I want to take you back real quick. Something that we touched on here at the beginning. And I'm going to, here's your first little curveball coming from me.
Okay.
When your mom was first diagnosed with diabetes, I want you to we're going to take a little trip back down memory lane for it. I want you to go back and think back then, if we're kind of watching a movie of your life, of you and your mom kind of interacting, and you get the news, she tells you, hey, I'm diabetic, we got to figure something out. And you can either pick it from that moment or kind of like a montage for when she went to the doctor and said, hey, you're pre-diabetic now, and she's off her meds. Pick one song, any artist, any genre, any song in particular that you would pair with that moment.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to have to go with Tiana Taylor, Made It.
Okay.
When the doctor gave the news, that she's now pre-diabetic, because that was a celebratory call when my mom told me.
Okay, nice. I'm going to grab this real quick so I can throw it up there for all the listeners out there. So Tiana Taylor, Made It. And I'm unfamiliar with this. So one of the perks of having this podcast is I get to discover new music along with everyone else. So I'm looking forward to listening to this one. So what we're going to do is, if you're on YouTube right now, down in the description, click on Tiana Taylor Made It, grab that link, go listen to it. I'm going to do the same. And if you're on Spotify, we're just going to play it right here for you right now. So Tiana Taylor Made It. And let's go celebrate a personal victory for ourselves. With Tanisha, and one thing we kind of talked about with food and fueling our body is that mindset. And as a hypnotist and being that realm, a motivational speaker, mindset is key in almost everything we do. But the way we kind of go about things, with the standard American diet, it kind of puts us in the mindset of, like, I'm hungry now, so I got to do this. But then the negative side effect that no one ever really talks about, at least in my circles from what I've experienced, is the after effect of I'm eating the standard American diet. I started developing depression. I started developing body dysmorphia. I feel sluggish and just not myself. And that just kind of spirals off into different attitudes. So have you experienced any of that with the change with your clients?
I mean, yeah, and myself, because when I always say I'm the first, I'm the example, I'm the testimony, and my mom, so think about when it's the holidays and everyone's eating all their turkey or whatever they're having, and we say, oh, I have itis. The itis is not something that someone should be experiencing. You're having all these processed heavy foods, and that's why you're sluggish, that's why you're tired, and you feel terrible after you're on the couch and everybody's knocked out. Like, that is not normal. Our food, like I said before, it should fuel us, it should energize us. And like you said, those things can lead to depression. Food is linked to so many things in life. And people don't recognize that, or maybe they don't have the knowledge to realize that, hey, when I'm picking up that Coke or when I'm having that turkey leg, this is actually harming me, my mental health and mental health. So yeah, but I definitely, when clients come for consultations with me, they'll say like, I'm tired of having brain fog all the time. Like I'll go into a room and not remember why I went there, and then we examine, well, what are you eating on a consistent basis? Like those things matter. And how much water are you drinking? Because I always like to look at it in a very like simplistic lens. Let's start small and then
Yep.
go big. Like I'm not one where I say, hey, let's become vegan tomorrow. Like that's not sustainable. No, like
Right.
there are people who go cold turkey, and I kudos to them, but I would never want to put my clients in that type of position. Longevity is the goal here. So when we look at your water and say, oh, well, you're only having 2 bottles, your body's 80% water, like let's start there, and let's look at, well, how much are you exercising per week? Because that adrenaline, that all too. And that's why I say it's a 360 mind, body, and soul, to look at your wellness lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. I don't consider my plant-based diet. I'm teaching people how to have a better lifestyle to enhance them as a human.
Yeah, and that's a great way to take it, because too many times you hear about these diets that they work, they don't work, and especially at the beginning of the year here with New Year's resolutions, we hear, oh, I need to lose weight, I'm going on a diet. Like, don't do that. Just making those small changes, like you said, start off, hey, you're only drinking 2 bottles of water, let's jump that up to 3, and then hey, once you get that down, let's put up more until you hit what you need. I had the opportunity to work as a personal trainer for a little while there. I got certified and a bunch of different things that I didn't need any of them, because all I had to do was just talk to people and just kind of point those simple things out. Like, hey, maybe let's put the Snickers down. We don't need that right now. That's not a pre-workout snack or a post-workout. Let's focus on something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just healthier alternatives. Sometimes, okay, instead of the Snickers, like let's have a date and put some almond butter in there and you can sprinkle some agave. People are like, what? Like, it's like magic sometimes, the things that I'll say to people. And they're like, oh, like that wasn't a bad alternative, because I still want things to be tasty. I still love desserts. I love apple pie is probably one of my favorites, and pumpkin pie, but my ingredients are going to be cleaner. So we can still do this, and that's really I think the biggest enjoyment that I get from what I do is when I say things like that. And wait, that's not bad. I tried it and that was really good. I was like, you're welcome. I'm so happy. It brings me joy to change the mind of people.
So I'm not big on. I'm very traditional as far as like your fruits, like apples, bananas. That's cool. Throwing a date there, now we're getting a little weird. But it's funny you brought that specific thing up. So a week before Christmas hit, I had a meeting for a fundraiser I'm helping chair, and they brought a snack in from one of the parties, and I grabbed one, and without thinking, I was hungry. I didn't have supper yet. It was like 8:00 at night. I got pre-out today, and it was a date, had an almond and stuff on it, and they said, yeah, just taste it, see what you think. So I took a bite, which for me, it was, it's a small thing. For me, one bite was a thing. And I said, this is really good. And they go, oh, yeah, it's a date. What's it taste like? They go, I thought for sure they had like these weird off-brand miniature Snickers that they just took out of the wrapping. No, it was all homemade and it was healthy. And it blew my mind though. Just, which I should know better, but I wasn't.
It's okay. Yeah.
Nice. So I'm gonna have you throw another star right now.
Okay.
Talking transformation, the mind, body, soul. I want you to look back at, kind of looking in a mirror, reflect at 30 pounds heavier, non-vegan lifestyle, taking a look right back at yourself. Okay. And a song that we'd be playing back and forth that kind of hits home. Like, oh, this was me then. This is me now. Something that would kind of.
Oh, so something that reflected who I was back then compared to now.
Yeah, we could take that spin on it, or whatever you're feeling. It's kind of that transformation, that process that happens when we make these lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. That's a good question. You might have gotten me stuck with that. I think it'd actually be more of a current song that I've heard recently that made me think of those times. So I believe his name is Jason, and it's called Self-Love, actually. Because when when I heard the song, it's a lot about literally giving yourself that love. And, for me, it was at that time giving my mom, becoming that caretaker. Like we reversed roles. And then I was also working on myself, being heavier at that time and then losing that weight. So it was more of like a reflection when I heard it to think about that time. So yeah, it's more current, but
Yeah,
I think it might hit home.
oh, I like that. Yeah, so we're gonna listen to Jason's Self Love, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back with Tanisha. And Tanisha, we got kind of a lot going on. You're talking past and transformations. One thing that I think would be really helpful for listeners, not necessarily just mine or yours, just anybody who kind of stumbles across this or anyone who's looking for a little assistance, but goal setting. Looking from, when you were in high school, like I'm sure you probably thought, hey, I'm going to continue my journey as a basketball player. I want to make it to that next level. So you probably set some goals back then. As a personal trainer, you're setting goals for yourself. You're setting goals for your clients. And, they're probably the smart goals. You're specific, they're measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, right? So what's some advice you could throw out there, or maybe a story of you helping a client out with setting some goals up?
Yeah, so I literally am very, very basic when it comes to goals, and I actually like to reframe it to habits. So because I think that sometimes just the word in itself, like, oh, I gotta, like the new year, new me, right? Like, oh, I have this goal that I need to set, and sometimes that could be triggering for people. I never thought about it when I was younger because literally I was just like, I'm going to become this WNBA basketball player. Like that was it.
Right.
There was no other goal, and then you get to college and you're like, oh, maybe not, like it might not happen. So I went towards the career phase of a social worker actually. So yeah, when I'm working with clients, it's really asking them, well, what is your biggest thing that you want for yourself? Like, what do you see yourself? Well, how would you be the happiest? And I think that that's a really good question to start. So it's more like self-introspection questions to figure out like what makes you happy. So, okay, let's say it's, I don't know, being able to run around with my kids. Sometimes that I hear that from clients. Okay, well, what do you think that we need to do to get there? Like what, if you're overweight, what do you think would be a really good example? And they were like, well, I mean, I want to set a good example for my kids. So probably I don't drink that much water. I don't really eat fruits. And, I'm constantly having McDonald's at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, well, let's start there. Let's see how it would feel if maybe instead of having the McDonald's at 8 o'clock, we had some key lime water, 16 ounces, and then had some fruit. Do you think you can do that? And then like, you know what? That doesn't sound like a bad change. Instead of, all right, well, here's this goal. Like you need to lose 60 pounds. And then what? When you just hear that one line, it could be like, well, how do I get there? So let's break that down into more of a simpler equation. And then people can see it for themselves, like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound so bad. And then be like, all right, well, around 11 o'clock, now let's have that smoothie. So really what I'm having them do without like fully realizing it, in a way, you're intermittent fasting. So from the time you go to bed, from the time you wake up, I'm having them start their day with key lime water, which is really good for cleansing your body. For people who don't know, it's a really good way to get your digestive system moving and warm as well. And then after that, you start introducing fruits because the term breakfast really isn't about having heavy food. It's really
Yep.
about breaking your fast. So when I'm talking to clients with this, they're like, you know what, that makes sense. So I'm educating them as we're talking about these habits
Nice.
to
Perfect.
build up. So that would be my way to talk to people instead of here's a SMART goal. Like people don't want to hear that stuff. It makes it sound like hard work. And
Yeah.
that's not what I want to do. We're not in school anymore. Like that, those days are done. And as a business owner, yeah, are there things that I want to change? Because I had to even do that with myself. I was like, I have goals. No, you want to have a better life. And what do you need to do to make this life better? And that's just how I feel and my opinion on it.
And honestly, that's a fresh take. I like it because growing up, you hear smart goal, smart goal, smart goal. We got to make sure it hits these measurables, and it almost gets to that redundant part where, okay, well, I need to lose X amount of pounds, or I need to work out X amount of days of the week, and when you don't hit that, when you miss it, you say, well, I failed. And then that failure spirals off into that mindset, and which triggers, binge eating Snickers bars,
Right.
or whatever's at arm's length.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It really does. It's a total reframe, because
yeah,
even for myself, this past week, I work out twice a week. That's what I set for myself. That's what I'm going to do. And normally it happens to be on Monday and Wednesday. That's just how I like to kick off the week, on a Monday workout, and then the middle of the week get it in. But this Wednesday, we had a storm here. I just didn't feel like doing it. Now, if I would have said, well, that's my goal, I have to do it on Monday and Wednesday. If I don't do it, then, oh my gosh, it's over. And then I'd probably feel down on myself. Instead, I was like, you know what? I woke up Thursday. I'm going to do it today. Having just twice a week, no matter what day I decide to do it, is still an accomplishment. So when you do that, you set your day, you set your week up like that. And it's like, well, you know what? I still did it. It doesn't matter how it got done. It got done, and
exactly.
I think that's the best way for people to look at their life.
Another phrase that gets thrown around there are vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
And I see how they can be positive, but I can also see the negative effects of it. Like, as a male, and this is me using a personal friend of mine as an example, he's got this huge vision board, and he went old school, middle school kid. I got to make this for class project. I'm cutting pictures out of magazines, and it's like, all right, you're putting these unrealistic, unattainable goals up there for yourself. You want to have a 12-pack, cut abs, also look like Mr. Universe. And then you say you're going to work out 5 days a week and you're only going to eat this. It's like, that's great. But first off, you don't have the genetics for a 12-pack. I know your family. It doesn't work like that. But also, you don't have the time to work out 5 days a week for 3 hours a day. It's not realistic for you.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I do see, vision board. What do you envision yourself as? Do you see a happy family? Do you see, a smiling person? Do you see just yourself relaxing, just feeling comfortable and kind of in it? So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, for sure. It's like the term, what does success mean to you? And everybody has a different version of it. And, it's, well, how do you attain that? And it could be the simplest things, like maybe I just want to wake up feeling happy. So you put a happy face on your board, what makes you happy? Is it eating better? Is it surrounding yourself with people who you enjoy, taking out toxic people from your life? Those are the type of questions that is really, really important. I find that journaling for me is the best way to figure those things out. And I have a vision board too, where I have those bigger dreams and that I would love to see happen in my life. But I find that it starts from how I feel today. And then I can get to those things that I would love to have in my life. Like, if I'm not happy in this moment right now, living life, then how am I going to get there? Gotta start with the second right now. And I think that that's a problem when people, as you were talking about with like the vision boards, like, okay, well, I'm going to be this multimillionaire, let's just say, in 2 years. But are you happy with who you are today? Because money is not the only thing that's going to make you happy. Like, let's start from the inner work inside and then build from there.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up that phrase, what does success mean to you? When I was picking out the college that I ended up attending for the first duration, it was a private Catholic college in Northeast Iowa. And we get there for orientation, and the first person to talk is the president of the school. The second person is the priest, the main guy who he leads mass. And he used that phrase. I'm sitting in the front row. My mom, she was always adamant that anytime you're here, you want to be present. You want to be front and center. Make sure that they know you and you know them. So that's what we did. We were sitting in the front row, and he's looking, pointing right at me. He goes, "What does success mean to you?" And me not realize that was a rhetorical question. I started answering back. He goes, no. I got this. And, there's 500 people in the crowd. It's 500 students plus our guest. He goes, maybe success means getting a degree, having a family, having a nice lifestyle, something you can be proud of or accomplish. Maybe it's starting your own business. And then he took a hard left, and he goes, or maybe it's having a 1970s pimped out Cadillac sitting in the student parking lot with spinners and hydraulics. Like, and this is like a 60 plus year old priest talking about that. It's like, I think I'm going to like church here. This is going to be kind of nice.
Right.
It threw me off guard. Yeah. You want to have that success mindset. And so with that, we're going to throw a song out there. We're going to pick your brain on this one.
All right.
I want you to think of a time where you're talking with a client and everything was clicking, and you can see like we're gonna make some big changes here. There's gonna be success. They're gonna feel it. I want you to look past yourself and your mom, and let's branch off into another client that you thought like maybe they had walls up when you first initially sat down with them, and you see like then they start lowering those walls down. They're kind of like nodding. They're getting excited. And you know that everything's clicking with them. What song kind of pairs with that for you?
I'm gonna go with Nicki Minaj, "Moment for Life."
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because in that moment, it's like I want this forever. You know, I want every client to feel like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I haven't heard that song in a while. That's a good one though.
Flashback Friday.
Right. I love it. So we're going Nicki Minaj, "Moment for Life." Make sure you guys give that a listen and you kind of feel yourself becoming more successful just by a quick 3.5 minute song. So check it out and we'll be right back. We're back with Tanisha Naughton. And Tanisha, I have we're gonna go personal on this one. So I've got 3 girls at home, 3 little ones, and one of them, everything we've kind of talked about, it's all kind of resonating, hitting home with me because one of them she's big into basketball. She basically said, I am going to be a basketball player. That is my career. Yes. And I say, okay, I love it. What's a plan B? Like, do you want to be a coach as well? Maybe marketing? Like, let's pull some of your other strengths in this, and that's going to be how you're going to launch yourself into that basketball career. We don't want to crush dreams. And honestly, so I play some video games occasionally when I get some free time. And one of them is I play NBA 2K, and they're making strides right now to incorporate more WNBA basketball, which I personally, I love it because that shows that my daughters, hey, we can sit down. I can play some games. You're not quite there coordination wise, hand-eye coordination yet, but you're getting there. But they can sit there and watch me play, and they have the build your character feature. So I started a career as my oldest daughter. She helped build the character out, the looks, the feel, what type of player she wants to be. And they let you pick what team you want to play on. And she picked the New York Liberty.
Oh, wow. That was my favorite team growing up.
Yeah. So for Christmas, I said, what do you want? She goes, pictures of New York, the New York Liberty basketball. I'm like, okay. And so she's getting to know some of the players. Sabrina Ionescu, she was phenomenal in college. I love her playing style. And so that's my oldest daughter. My middle daughter, she's at a weird transition phase right now where and it was difficult for my wife and I and our family to kind of wrap our mind around it. She's not a big meat eater. She's not a big fan of meat. And we keep saying, well, you need a protein source. You can't just have carbohydrates, carbs. So we kind of broke it down like vegetables and fruits only. You need some kind of protein to help build muscle so you can get stronger. And she's 7 right now. So that's why we started experimenting. Like, all right, black bean burgers. Maybe we experiment with some tofu. Let's get just some kind of different sources in there for her. And then my youngest one, she's only 3, but I can guarantee the music that you sent over on the one playlist, the 50 song one.
Yeah.
I started playing some of the tracks off that, and she's a music fanatic. So I got excited when I had the opportunity to finally sit down and talk with you. I was like, all right, cool. We're going to incorporate all 3 of my daughters into this. And that's why I'm having so much fun with this.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I want to have you take a step back. I know you work with, women of color. I'm sure it's mostly adults.
Yes.
But if you had to send messages to kids, kind of your motivational prep talk of, maybe giving the vegan lifestyle a try, maybe, sampling some different foods, some different recipes, pursuing your dreams, just listening to good music. Throw some messages out there for those parents who are out there who have those young kids who might be able to share this.
Yeah, so just some motivation. Honestly, one is persistence is key. Definitely. Like if I think about my life, there's been so many times I've been knocked down, and you just, I didn't know if like I was going to see the sunshine through the rainstorm, but perseverance, you being persistent and know your why. Like really, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, because kids know what they want. Like how you said your daughter knows she wants to become a basketball player, right? Like they're
Yep.
so smart. So know your why. I would even write it down. Like, this is why do you want to become a basketball player? Like what does that do for you? How does that make you feel inside? Bring that joy and keep that joy with you and that fire for the things that you believe in and what you want in your life. I definitely would say like some big things. And like we were talking about, like live in the moment, like live life now, because we don't have any moment but today, this second right now, and enjoy that. So whether that is, that is music and you enjoy listening to music, like you said, for your daughter, do that. Make sure you do something that you love every single day. Make the time for it,
Like that.
because yeah, life is crazy, school, jobs, businesses. So you have to take the time out for yourself and enjoy the things that you love. So I would say those are like the biggest things. Because I've been a hard worker, and I say like hustling is what I come from, but sometimes you have to take a step back and just enjoy your life. And I'm learning that myself more and more, because that allows us to be better. I feel
Yeah.
like that allows us to work harder. It's kind of like fun, with the hard work equals the creativity almost for me now in this lifestyle. So that's what I would share with them.
Perfect. I love it. So now we're going to share a song. I'm gonna throw you a nice easy one though. We're gonna go throwback. Okay.
Oh,
Let's maybe it's not so easy.
it's not gonna be easy. I don't know. We're seeing.
Let's do a throwback. I want you to put yourself back in. Let's say we time travel and we play. We find young Tanisha. We find you back in the day. Maybe get some free throws up in the gym. Maybe just kind of hanging out. Doodling, doing your homework, whatever. We find you. Young Tanisha hustling away. We play exactly what you just said, that exact message, but we're playing it for the younger you, and we put a song in the background of it, and it's a song that's going to be specific to that time frame. And you can say you were 5 years old, you can say you were 15 years old, but whatever you want to time travel back to, pull a song out from back then.
Oh man, there's so many songs from back then. Whew. It's so funny because like I want to pull, Jay-Z's my favorite artist, so I want to pull a song from him, but what what's actually coming up is I think I was like in high school at this time, and Nelly, who is also one of my favorite artists too.
Right.
I believe the song is Number One.
Yep.
I think, yeah. Two is not a winner, and three nobody remembers. Yeah, yeah.
What does it take?
Right. So that was definitely something I had on repeat back then, because it was just empowering. When you're in the gym and you're working out and you're training, like that song would definitely hit.
Nice. Full disclosure, I still blast out when I work out. It's
that's a tune.
it's one of those. I hate putting music down that comes out, current music, because there's some good stuff out there. But
yeah.
If we're comparing, your Nelly, your Jay-Z to some of the mumble rap that's out there now, some of the songs that apparently hit harder,
Right.
There's no comparison.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Number One, Nelly, that's a good song. I like it, and that to me that would resonate really well with your message too. It's you want to work hard, you want to hustle, you want to find out yourself, and stick to your why. Stay true to you.
Exactly. I mean, that's all you can do. And that way you just worry about yourself. I think that's like the last message I would say is worry about you. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing and how they're doing it. Because when we compare ourselves, and I've done this myself, it gets you nowhere. And that's where I feel like most of your self-doubt comes from. And that's what builds up the anxiety. Like, oh, they're better than me. Are they? I don't think so. Just keep looking in the mirror, and affirmations is another big thing that's huge, and I have that in my program as well. I actually have some music as well in my program. Like everything encompasses who I am, because I believe that these are the ways and these are the tools that people can use to be the best version of themselves.
Nice. I love it. All right. We're going to toss out Nelly, number one. Listen to it, get pumped, get hyped, get ready for it. It's going to throw some of us in the back, back in the day, working hard, grinding in the gym. So take a look. Nelly, number one. All right. We're back with Tanisha. We are going to start wrapping up. I've had a great talk. But before we go, we got to know, where can we get more of you? Where can we find out? Just fill us in. Let us know where we can learn more about you.
Yeah, for sure. So my website, www.mswellnessllc.com. My Instagram and TikTok are both plant-based vibes. So PLANTBASEVIBES. And then Facebook, as always, Tanisha Naughton, NAUGHTON. And yeah, just reach out on my website. I actually have some free consultation slots open for anyone that is interested, getting coach, having a 7-day cleanse. I'm actually coming out slowly with a newer offer that will have even more music, but that is for the people who are part of my plant-based tribe. So you can definitely join my email list, and I'll be giving out some free game there, some free tools. But yeah, some of my services right now are actually discounted price. So I would hop on now if you're ready to reclaim your health tools, just become better. If you know someone that is ready to invest in their health, now is the time. So definitely reach out, and yeah, I look forward to helping everybody just be a better version of themselves.
Perfect. Love it. And last thing before we go, because I'd kick myself if I didn't get a chance to know, if we could throw a song out there that would kind of sum up your basketball career, you're playing back in the day, could be high school, college, whatever, that song that would be your intro. Throw it out there for us. What you got?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Jay-Z Encore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. So does mean we're going to get an encore of your playing days, and we're going to see you on the court?
Who knows? It's been a while, but the love is always there. I feel I'm an athlete at heart. It never goes away. But yeah, it's just something about that song gets me pumped every time. It's a good feeling. And that's what I want my life to continuously feel like. And that's what those playing days gave me that feeling too. And Jay-Z just hits.
You're not wrong. I love Jay-Z. Awesome. So we're going to wrap it up. Tanisha, thank you so much for having me come on out. We are going to throw out Jay-Z Encore as our final farewell. We're going to check you out. Make sure in the description, hit those links. Go follow her. Let's blow up her social media. Get her a bunch of TikTok followers, some likes. Show her some love, guys. Tanisha, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really had a great time today.
Awesome. Sorry I had to pick your brain a little too hard there, but we found some gems there, so I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we'll take her easy, and we will see you next time.
For this episode of Randrews Live, the podcast. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did making it. Thanks for tuning in on this journey through the music and stories. Don't forget to hit subscribe and find us on all social media platforms at Randrews Live. From there, you can stay up to date on all the latest episodes. And if you have any comments, questions, or ideas for future episodes, hit us up. We love hearing from our listeners. Until next time, keep on rocking, and we'll see you soon.
And that'll do it. So it's going to finish loading up real quick. And we'll be all set.
You have